She said yesterday those statements weren't true. She said this was all about getting her story out. If that's the case, why didn't she just have a...
Hi guys, welcome to XCOM 2 or The Chosen. It's a modded core collection.
That would have jumped at the opportunity to write a negative story about Donald Trump. You just did a closing argument. Not to believe it. Great job, Bill. You're a lawyer. Because she has no credibility. She has zero... I mean, this case is a joke. It's to expose Trump. Stormy Daniels has no credibility. And more importantly, going back to this so-called trial, what did she do to push the needle toward evidence against Trump? Zero. Nothing she said. In fact, I'll challenge any of these comments on these other networks. Show me the witness that has linked Trump to a criminal charge for criminal this is to hurt Trump's election chances. I can't say it any clearer. And one last point. Expect Michael Cohen to be on the witness stand for days, because the defense is going to have several videos to play to the jury. Yeah. One of those cases where you wish there were cameras in the courtroom, because that cross-examination one day, probably going to be some fireworks. Turning to another subject, it looks like first son Hunter Biden is going to be headed back to court himself pretty soon. He's got back-to-back rulings that have handed his team a setback, denying their attempts to get his federal gun charges thrown out. He's facing 3 counts, 2 related to lying on forms to get a gun, 1 related to unlawful possession. So this decision now clears the way for Hunter to face a jury trial starting in June. That would be June 3rd in Delaware. So Andrew, my question to you here, we have come a long way from that sweetheart
Shit.
He's looking at some serious issues here, and this seems like a pretty strong case when it comes to the gun. Thank God for that federal court judge who said absolutely not to this sweetheart plea deal. And look, Hunter Biden faces real problems. And isn't it the ultimate chutzpah that he has the audacity, his lawyers have the audacity, to claim that this case was politically motivated when you have Donald Trump on trial with multiple federal criminal charges, with multiple state criminal charges, all in effect, de facto, orchestrated by Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and the entire Department of Justice. Hunter Biden is in some real trouble. I think he's going to be convicted, and I think he's going to spend a long time in prison, as well he should. And real quick, last year, 10 seconds, round table, quick answer. Do you believe Donald Trump should testify in his trial, yes or no? Leo, start with you. Oh, here, very quickly. No, and no. Andrew? I'll say no. He doesn't need it. There's no need to. It's too risky. Wait. He doesn't have to. No. Got it. Guys, thank you for your time this morning. Great panel, great insight, and we'll keep an eye on the trial as it pans out this morning. Thanks for your time. In the meantime, the backlash is growing against what many are calling President Biden's arms embargo on our ally Israel. House Republicans are now drafting impeachment articles over what they call a quid pro quo for military aid. One top Republican senator calling out the president, pointing to a remedy.
This is heartbreaking. This is a nightmare for Israel to be abandoned by their best friend in the world. And the only way you're going to change this is at the ballot box in November.
And also problems for the president within his own party as he tries to please both sides on the issue. It ain't working, and it could spell bad news for him this November. We'll be right back.
Mom jeans. She passed them down to you. But who passed them to her? Ancestry DNA can show her who and where her genes came from. Best of all, it's on sale for Mother's Day. Get it now, before she has to remind you.
Fuck.
That signage that gets you noticed turns hot rods into homes. Make your statement.
I'm Richard Clark, and I love my hose. My hose is lightweight. My hose will not kick. And my hose is anti-leak. It ain't those old hoses. This is my hose. The new pocket hose comparable, now used with real copper, so your water is always clean and lead-free. Just turn on the water, watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube uses 3 layers of high-strength latex on the inside, and it's wrapped with a polymer filament jacket, similar to the technology used in forest fire hoses because it's light and tough, 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years. Nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build, the oversized, easy-to-grip fittings. Easy on and off, even with gloves. More than 100 patents worldwide. It's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose copper bullet today for only $29.99. But wait, call now to get our copper spring hose exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn off and on. And with 10 easy patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. It's a $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot copper hose. But it's not available in stores. This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order. Don't wait. Order now. To order, call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. So call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. Order now.
Faceless. I hate these guys.
Do I choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
I like my side firmer. Sleep Number does that. Now save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed plus free to the base. Shop now at sleepnumber.com.
It's the cabinets to go. Buy more, save more, save up to 40% on gracious home custom cabinetry and up to 40% on custom stock and premier cabinetry collections. This sale ends May 21st. Hurry in today to get your dream kitchen and get more wow for less.
Evan Gershkovich will remain jailed on espionage charges.
Our Russian court has rejected the latest appeal. Our prayers are with Evan and
What is Circle? Circle is what folklore and tosses the village.
Fuck.
Adjusting sight. Running dry on ammo. Hostile target down.
Every penny I was making was spent on drugs.
When I found out about what I was sitting inside that phone. On the phone, talking with somebody said, "Who's that?" I'm not even dead. 14 years. Never thought I was on my way. I had made that house.
The goals against President Biden. This over his threat to block weapons to Israel if it goes any further into Rafah. Florida Congressman Corey Mills leading that charge. He accuses the president of forcing our strongest Middle Eastern ally into an alleged, quote, quid pro quo as it tries to battle Hamas. The White House yesterday trying to clean up President Biden's threat to Israel. Take a listen.
For him, this is very straightforward. He's going to continue to provide Israel with the capabilities that it needs, all of them. But he does not want certain categories of American weapons used in a particular type of operation in a particular place. Israel has not yet launched such an operation. So he was talking about what would happen in the future if they did.
And a new opinion piece out with a very direct headline here. Take a look. Biden's Israel arms embargo will go down as one of the worst American betrayals. Republican senators also tearing into Biden's decision.
The problem with what's happening with the Biden administration today is not only does it force people to question our reliability as an ally, it puts Israel's national security interests at risk. This is insane.
Hamas is using him, and he is allowing it, and he is turning his back on Israel.
Mr. President, if you do not change this policy, you will have destroyed the last best chance to deliver lasting stability in the Middle East for generations.
Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram is joining us live on Capitol Hill with more on this. Chad, the president taking a lot of heat on this threat, isn't he?
Bill, good morning. Political observers believe that impeachment for President Biden was dead. The chatter of an alleged quid pro quo by the president is fueling impeachment talk in Congress. The president is accused of conditioning aid to Israel.
I seem to remember from that impeachment trial, the Democrats saying that when the president withholds aid that Congress has directed, that's an impeachable offense. So if that's so, that was their line, then I hope they're going to rush to do something about this. Whatever the legality of it is, it's morally wrong.
Mr. Biden vowed to deny weapons to Israel if it invades Rafah. GOP Florida Representative Corey Mills is prepping the impeachment articles. Some Democrats who side with Israel oppose the president's move.
I was disappointed. That doesn't change my support for the president for the situation. I don't think we should have any kind of conditions, and I haven't seen anything with Israel's conduct that would ever justify conditions.
No House GOP leaders are calling for impeachment, but Israel's allies plan to capitalize on this politically and legislatively.
I want to reverse it and ultimately deliver those weapons to Israel. There is a pro-Hamas wing of the Democrat Party that's taken over. And you see Joe Biden catering to the far-left element and turning away from Israel.
Now, Democrats impeached former President Trump in 2019 for what they interpreted as restrictions on aid to Ukraine. Bill?
Yep, and Israel says they will take the fight to Hamas alone if they have to as a result of that threat. Chad Pergram live on Capitol Hill this morning. Thank you. The Biden's arms threat is only deepening congressional Democrats' divide on Israel. You just heard from Senator Fetterman, who said he's disappointed in the president, but progressives like far-left Congressman Jamal Bowman are now praising the president's move. He's saying that, quote, protesting is working. Keep fighting for a ceasefire now. Meanwhile, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calls it the most responsible, secure, and just thing to do. The uncommitted campaign got thousands of anti-Biden votes in multiple Democratic primaries. A spokesman saying withholding arms, quote, marks a step forward propelled by our growing anti-war movement. Now, on the flip side of all this, some of Biden's biggest pro-Israel donors are reportedly very angry with him. Molly Ball writes for the Wall Street Journal, quote, the war and the protests have sharply divided Democrats, and the president's slow and equivocal response has inflamed both sides. Many Democrats privately worry that the college conflagrations have exacerbated the unpopular incumbent's existing political weaknesses and pose a grave danger to his re-election hopes. For more on this, let's go ahead and bring in Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor, and Kevin Walling, former Biden campaign surrogate. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Tammy, I'll start with you. This threat to withhold these weapons to Israel, what kind of a message do you think that potentially sends to our allies? Essentially, hey, if the political trouble gets a little bit too heavy, we're going to pull out the rug from you?
Yeah, I mean, this has been the problem. It's not just this instance, but it's been the history of what the Biden administration has done, starting, of course, with the Afghanistan withdrawal debacle, and then even President Biden's remarks about Russia as he was mobilizing at Ukraine's border, saying, well, maybe a limited incursion would be okay. I mean, there was messages that were kind of shocking to our allies when it came to the nature of how to handle war and what was acceptable. But overall, what our allies and enemies have seen is an indecisive, back and forth, kind of policy into Stephen's piece in the New York Times. Israel is going to and I'm adding this element and Hezbollah that let's keep on. You can't appease and you can't appease terrorists around the country to do the right thing.
And Kevin, President Biden says he's making this threat because he wants to lower the risk of civilian casualties in Gaza. He wants a precision campaign against Hamas. If that's the case, why would you take away Israel's precision weapons?
Well, Bill, listen, it's as Admiral Kirk has indicated in one particular space. About civilian casualties in Gaza. And it's something, for example, Ronald Reagan did in 1982 1983 with Israel and the Lebanon war, restricting the use of F-16 in Israel out of concern on the ground. Well, listen, this president with Israel, with the state of Israel. You saw the speech on Tuesday honoring Holocaust Memorial Day on the Capitol, where he laid into, he continues to lay into Hamas as the single party responsible for what we're seeing play out on the ground in Gaza. We'll talk about the economy for a second here. President Biden sat down, spoke to CNN this week. Critics are now roasting him for these comments on the economy. Take a listen.
The whole turnout pulling that as wrong all along. When I started this administration, people were saying perhaps the economy. We have the strongest economy in the world.
Right, with their interpretation and their stance. You have a very number of lies that Americans are living in, what they're experiencing day to day. Dictated by a poll, right? Their lives are dictated by the price of food and energy, gas, etc., and the price of rent, and the inability to buy a home, the nature of what's going on the campuses, and what money you're spending for that education. But ultimately, it's about the day-to-day experience. Every time he speaks about the polls, and the polls are wrong or right, and there's no real connection or empathy. This is what's remarkable. He ran as the empathetic president, and there's been a complete disconnect with what the lives of Americans are, what those lives are. Even like eggs, something on a daily basis, which I'm sure, look, the very rich aren't going to the supermarket having to pick out the dozen eggs that cost $9, when a few years ago they cost $2. And that's that money matters, especially when you're renting and you have interest rates that make everything else impossible. It's
And Kevin, to you now, during that same CNN interview, President Biden said that when he came into office, inflation was at 9%. That's not true. Inflation was at 1.4% when he came in. Where is he getting 9% from?
Well, it certainly peaked at 9% halfway through the Biden administration coming out of COVID, and we saw that.
Why is he saying it was at 9% when he came into office?
Well, shortly after he came into office, it was that high because of all the spending under the previous administration with COVID relief. And I think what you're seeing is the president talking and trumpeting the incredible growth that we've seen from a GDP perspective, from a job growth perspective. I wish you'd play the part where he talks about feeling the inflation pain, to Tammy's point, that Americans are experiencing. And he talked about the fact that, he's tackling things like junk fees in that interview, tackling the cost of healthcare, bringing down the cost of insulin in particular. So all these things that this administration are doing to feel the pain of the Americans, we just got to do a better job getting the word out, obviously.
Got it. Tammy, Kevin, thank you so much for your time this morning. We are out of time. We got to run. Thank you all so much for watching the Faulkner Focus. I'm Bill Malugian in for Harris today. Outnumbered coming up right after the break.
Well, keep it up, Commander.
Veteran homeowners, need cash but worried you can't get a home loan because of your credit? Here's great news. At New Day, we've been granted automatic authority by the VA to make our own loan approval decisions. In fact, if you've had credit challenges and missed a payment along the way, you're more than 5 times more likely to get approved for the New Day 100 VA cash out loan. No one knows veterans like New Day USA.
Call 855-510-4070.
Hi guys. Bill, you look great. Now that I have Inspire, I'm free from struggling with the mask and hugs. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside my body with a click of this button.
Where do you go?
I'm going to get inspired.
Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
They get it. They know how it works. And more importantly, it works for them.
I don't have any anxiety about money anymore. I don't have to worry about a mortgage payment every month. It allowed me to live in my home and not have to pay payments.
Linda, Dinah, Joanne, very different people. But they do have a couple of things in common. They love their home and they know their stuff. They all talked about the counseling they got, so they knew how a reverse mortgage worked and how it could be a real financial solution for their retirement.
If you're 62 or older and own your home, find out how you can access your home's equity to give you cash now and when you need it in the future. A reverse mortgage can put more money in your pocket by eliminating your monthly mortgage payments, paying off higher interest credit cards, and covering medical costs.
A person like me needed to get a reverse mortgage to change my life. It was the best thing I've ever done ever. Yes, without a doubt.
Just like these folks, AAG can show you how a reverse mortgage loan uses your built-up home equity to give you tax-free cash. They can pay it back whenever it works for them.
It's a good thing. Call right now to receive your free, no-obligation info kit. The kit will show you how you can get the cash you need using your home's equity as a reverse mortgage from AAG. Call 800-936-6374.
Contacts.
I've been with AAG for quite a while now. I think they're the real deal. So look, why don't you get the facts like these folks did and see if a reverse mortgage could work for you.
Call AAG, the country's #1 reverse mortgage lender. Call 800-936-6374. 800-936-6374.
Yeah, feel good.
My name's Gary. I exercise almost every day. I'm more active than the average citizen. I started taking baths, and I can feel the benefits. It's been a little bit of a revolutionary process.
Excellent. Africa bonus.
It's a great product.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS. Sis? Is this dog food in your fridge? It's not dog food. It's fresh pet. Real meat, real veggies. Seems like a lot of space to waste on a dog. Now the family I need. Person who is with that roses. Are you getting me anything for Mother's Day? Go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Oh my goodness, wow. Gorgeous. I feel like thank you. 1-800-Flowers.com. Happy Mother's Day.
And our equipment is ready to send from the equipment. Just do the word and we'll build the project.
Freedom and travel exploration.
Next.
The RV community is stronger than ever as family and friends seek quality time together. Camping World has been a part of the American dream since 1966. Shop over 6,000 RVs for less than $200 a month. Only at Camping World. RSV is out there. For those 60 years and older, protect against RSV with a vaccine.
Exosuit.
Is a vaccine used to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. Vaccine does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients. Those with weakened immune systems may have a low response to the vaccine. The most common side effects are injection site pain, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and joint pain.
Good.
I chose RSV. RSV? Make it a vaccine. As these breaks, Fox News is reporting live.
There's a gaping hole, say legal experts in some of this testimony.
At least for the moment, the protests are dampened.
Officials tell us they have concerns that the IDF has plans to use U.S.-made weapons in Raqqa.
Only on Fox News Channel.
It is day 15 of the historic New York versus Trump trial, and right now, the defense is cross-examining Georgia Longstreet, a paralegal for the Manhattan DA's office, and she's testifying to texts and posts about Stormy Daniels, who wrapped up her testimony yesterday. The prosecution's other so-called star witness, Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen, now set to take the stand on Monday. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm here with my co-host, Kaylee McEnany, and also joining us today, co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, Dagan McDowell, Fox News contributor, Lisa Booth, and Fox News contributor and former White House press secretary Ari Fleischer. I also forgot to introduce
These aren't
myself.
bad.
I am Emily.
The first one's bad.
To this, Judge Merchant denied a request for a mistrial and a modification of the gag order by Trump's defense team. Now, they argued that Trump should be able to defend himself against Daniel's salacious testimony. Trump railed against the ruling this morning. Watch.
Investigation.
This study allows them to get away with this gag order. The way the case is being handled, what they're doing, this thing was incredible. It was incredible. What they did, this trial was so horrible. It's no longer justice, and it's a tremendous abuse of the New York judicial system in particular. The New York judicial system.
Stranded agents.
And all the world is watching again. So I'll now go and sit in that freezer courtroom for 8 or 9 hours and think about being on the campaign. But I'll be on the campaign on Saturday at 9 o'clock in Wildwood, New Jersey. Thank you.
All right, Fleischer, so much that we've seen thus far, and as the president announced, he will be campaigning this weekend.
I keep trying to figure out what this trial's all about. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't keep up with it from a legal technical point of view, but the best I can see as a layman is he's on trial for winning the presidential election in 2016. He's on trial for running for re-election in 2024. Because if the fact pattern was the same, he did everything they allege he had done, but he hadn't won in 2016, there'd be no trial. If he had done everything they said he had done, but he wasn't running in 2024, there would be no trial.
Oops.
This is, in the bluest counties in America, an attempt to stop Donald Trump from becoming president. That's how I see this entire trial.
And this trial as well, Kaylee, is equally confusing for attorneys and as it is for non-attorneys.
Reaper.
Because the reality remains that the prosecution has yet to articulate, frankly, charges, right? How can the defense even adequately prepare a defense when they don't even understand the specificity of charges? They have no idea how to talk about relevance or materiality when to this day it remains the district attorney has not articulated the actual charges, let alone brought any evidence.
Yeah, a ton of due process problems. This is why this will be reversed on appeal. It's why Alvin Bragg doesn't care. All he wants is a conviction. But I have concluded that the prosecution is actually working for Donald Trump. I think that's the only thing that I've walked away with. I look at Hope Hicks. I know her. Very credible, very professional woman. Madeline Westerhouse, also know her. Very credible, very professional woman. These two women speak glowingly about Trump. What a great boss he is, what a great person he is. You don't think the jury is soaking that up? And you compare their testimony with the testimony of an adult film star with an axe to grind who speaks to dead people. I mean, that's the best takeaway I had from Stormy Daniels. The jury is going to see this comparison. They will be left to make their own conclusions. One thing I want to point out, we have Cohen, that'll be the cherry on top by the prosecutors. I can't wait to watch that cross-examination and the credibility issues there. But this gag order. The judge yesterday denied Donald Trump's request to remove the gag order. Stormy's out there talking about Trump, but Trump can't respond. Well, the judge said this: my concern is not just with protecting Ms. Daniels or a witness. My concern is with protecting the integrity of this proceeding as a whole. Let's talk about that. And let's pull up this tweet from Will Staken on ABC. These TikToks that Michael Cohen does, they come up and then they disappear, but he captured this one. Look at the shirt Michael Cohen is wearing. That is Trump in an orange jumpsuit. So your next witness is literally out there cheerleading for the imprisonment of Donald Trump, and Trump can't respond. The American people see this injustice. I think the jury will too. I don't know if we get a full acquittal because we are in Manhattan, there's a lot of leftists, but this will be a hung jury, and there's going to be a tailwind behind Donald Trump. That's my prediction. Chris Dagan,
the aim on.
said this is an absolute mockery, a travesty, a circus that has been made of the criminal justice system, as President Trump has said. He called it an abuse of the judicial system. But the reality is, we are all paying for it. We as New York taxpayers are paying for this charade while someone is prevented from campaigning for the highest elected office in the country.
The rest of America, they believe that we're a bunch of idiots for living here and tolerating this. But this is bigger than just New York City and a city corrupted where criminals are coddled by left-wing guys. This is about lawfare or legal warfare. And I just want to point out Kimberly Strassel's article in the Wall Street Journal today, Trump and the lawfare implosion of 2024. And I won't go into the entire article, but she goes through what has been a really incredible week, not just for President Trump, but in the name of justice and all that is right. And I will just point out the January 6th case brought by Special Counsel Jack Smith hung up at presidential immunity. Tuesday, definitely postponing Mr. Trump's trial. That's the Jack Smith. Next up, the Georgia case, an appeals court is now reviewing that. The Alvin Bragg case, all they have to hang their hat on is by decision to not call Playboy model Karen McDougal and putting Johnny Davis on the stand was and then they're going to call Michael Cohen for a serial liar, lied in court under oath and has committed perjury and guilty to lying to Congress in addition to continually lying to the American people and the public. I can't wait for that cross. Did it peak in its valley thus far, Lisa? How was that? I think Donald Trump has demonstrated that he's one of the best retail politicians we've ever seen. I mean, you look at the use of being in New York, visiting a construction site, going to the bodega, turning all of this into one big campaign stop. But I don't believe Alvin Bragg wanted a convention. I don't believe that was the case. I think the intent of all this was just to try to embarrass Donald Trump, keep him off the campaign trail, because even Alvin Bragg never laid out, you raised a misdemeanor to a felony and never demonstrated that the falsification of business records was done with the intent to conceal or commit another crime. The prosecution hasn't been able to do that either. And so instead, all they have done in the process is made him a martyr, and everything continues to break his way. As Dagan pointed out, Judge Cannon is definitely postponing that case. The Supreme Court looking at presidential immunity, now an appeals court looking at Bonnie Willis's actions, and then here in New York City as well, the judge overseeing that fraud case under investigation. So they've turned Donald Trump into a martyr, and then he has made lemons out of lemonade in this, and potentially this could be what helps him. To her point, final quick thoughts on the lemonade of lemons, right? On the rising amount of Americans who say they will vote for him more if there even is a conviction. That will spur them to Lisa's point. He is in fact a martyr now, and that will bring more people to his vote.
Yeah, politically, I have long argued that this is such a high-risk case for the prosecution to make, because I think if he's found guilty, so many Americans,
nice shot,
specifically because the island of Manhattan, the Democrat stronghold, and if he's not guilty, or it's a hung jury, then I think it propels Donald Trump because he went into the ring with the heavyweight on the heavyweight's home turf and beat him. And one quick final word. President Trump needs to stop calling the judge conflicted. He needs to explain why he's conflicted. Every day of the trial, he goes in there and says, the judge is conflicted bigger than I've ever seen anywhere in my life. He doesn't explain how or why. He needs to say that the judge's daughter works for a Democratic political consulting firm that does anti-Trump business. He needs to explain. Otherwise, it's just an assertion with no proof. And President, if he's going to say it, back it up. Explain.
I think that's a violation of gag order. Is it not? Okay. He's free. Not the judge, but the family. That's an issue.
I had a hunch one of you guys would come around.
I might be wrong there. He's trying to be. President Trump is trying to be careful in his language. That's why he is very measured in his word. Thank you for Phil.
He said he was editing in real time today.
But his surrogates don't have to be.
And the assumption that people know why the judge.
No Templars on this mission. You got lucky.
Which we do here for you. We are keeping our eyes on the courthouse. The former president is expected to speak within the next hour when court wraps up for the day, and when he does, we will bring it to you. Plus, House Republicans are drafting impeachment articles over the president's withholding of arms shipments to Israel.
Introducing Electrolyte. He thinks his flaky red patches are all people see.
Tesla can help you get clear skin. Don't use a Tesla if you're allergic to it.
reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla have depression, suicidal thoughts, or weakness. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache.
Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
Whether you're a professional driver or just a fan, vehicle breakdowns are costly. It started tugging.
Started making some really weird noises. The last thing I remember is just the engine cut out.
If your check engine light comes on tomorrow, the repair could easily cost thousands.
Excellent.
It's that transmission. It's an exhaust stove, broken axle.
But with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
I had a seat sensor that went out, $1,400. Endurance paid it.
You got a brand new transmission, and you never seen the repair bill. Use any certified mechanic you want. Just bring your car in, and Endurance will pay them direct. All major parts are covered.
What I like about Endurance, they don't play games, there's no middleman. They're a solid company.
If I didn't have Endurance, I would have paid over $7,000 out of pocket to repair my vehicle.
Something is going to break down. Make Endurance pay for it.
With Endurance, your car repair costs go way down, while your car's life expectancy goes way up, allowing you to drive more and pay less.
One claim alone saved me more than $4,000.
I've had 5 claims, and that is $3,500 that I've kept in my pocket.
So, who's gonna pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Whether you put 10,000 or 100,000 miles a year on your car.
Oh, come on.
Less than 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan covers 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country. Call right now to get $300 off any plan, plus a full year of our top-tier elite benefits, a $2,000 value free. And all Endurance plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, but you have to act now.
Call 1-855-276-1563. That's 1-855-276-1563. Rebuilding the Francis Scott Key Bridge. From the timeline to the costs and the bipartisan support needed, Governor Wes Moore and Congressman Andy Harris detail their common ground on Special Report.
These politicians can never agree.
Oh, we don't always agree.
Back online. Here I come. High speed advance.
Last few years, I've been on my own. It's really challenging.
On the move. Moving out. My goal as
Closest ally in the Middle East is warning Israel that he will withhold military aid to IDF into Rafah to eradicate Hamas.
I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem. We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of Iron Dome, and we're going to respond to attacks that came out of
Priest. Priest.
Middle East recently. But it's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells used that have been used.
Artillery shells as well.
Yeah, artillery shells.
Well, when it was Trump withholding weapons to Ukraine in 2019, President Biden called it a, quote, quid pro quo.
He's that way.
Peace. Now, 5 years later, House Republicans are holding Biden to his own standard, drafting impeachment articles for Biden over his threats to Israel. Senator Tom Cotton had this to say yesterday.
Now, some people say Joe Biden is doing this for his reelection, which would be bad enough. It would also, I have to add, be grounds for impeachment under the Democrats' Trump-Ukraine standard, withholding foreign aid that helped one's reelection. Only if Joe Biden gets true.
Lisa, this is blatantly political. I found 2 interesting articles today on how bad this is for Biden. So look, you've got Axios here. Biden's big donors fume over Israel criticism. And what you have here is a big Democratic mega donor. He said this, a senior White House official Wednesday asking him to pass along his criticism of Biden's recent move to pause bomb shipments to Israel. Bad decision on all levels. Please reconsider, he wrote in a message obtained by Axios. Let's not forget, there are more Jewish voters who care about Israel than Muslim voters that care about Hamas. But now let's flip it to the New York Times. So the Jewish mega donors are mad there, thanks to Axios. New York Times, inside Biden's broken relationship with Muslim and Arab American leaders, the president's announcement is extremely overdue.
Excellent. One more, buddy.
Said Abbas Alawi, one of the leaders of the protest vote movement. And you can see there more criticism from the Arab American community. So he's literally making everyone mad.
Well, okay, so real quick before I get to that, I don't think the comparisons to Donald Trump are fair because President Zelensky came out and said that he didn't even know money was being withheld. So you can't really have a quid pro quo when the other party doesn't know anything's being leveraged, right? In this instance, Joe Biden's being very open with it, withheld that, and the fact that he was going to withhold these weapons before the Holocaust Remembrance Day, nakedly political in what he's trying to do. On the political front, I don't know how much this is going to move the needle heading into the presidential election. I looked at the latest Fox News Michigan poll. You look at, Donald Trump is up in the state, according to the recent poll. A plurality of voters think that Joe Biden has his approach to the war in the Middle East just about right. Under 35, the same story of plurality thinks that he has it just about right. So I don't know, maybe this impacts congressional races where you have a higher portion of Jewish voters or Muslim voters, but I don't know how big of an impact this is going to have on the presidential election.
Already yesterday, Biden tweeted out that he loves to keep his promises. I'm paraphrasing. That was the gist of the tweet. So let's talk about some of those promises. Listen, this was the president in 2019 on aid to Israel.
News this week, to the extent that some of the Democrats are saying that because of Israel's settlement policy, that they would look at cutting off military aid to Israel as a result of that.
It would be a tragic mistake. I strongly oppose Israel's settlement policy in the West Bank. I've made that clear to Bibi when I was vice president, and made it crystal clear to the Israelis. But the idea that we would cut off military aid to an ally, our only true ally in the entire region, is absolutely preposterous. It's just beyond my comprehension.
So he won't cut off aid, and on April 27th, he tweets, "I will not rest until every hostage ripped from the families held by Hamas is back in the arms of their loved ones." So now Israel can't go get their hostages in Rafah, and he will withdraw. Literally the inverse of what he said.
I don't even know where to start. This sordid, sour, terrible handling of this by Joe Biden. I always knew he'd buckle. On October 8th, I predicted that Joe Biden was going to buckle. He was going to stay strong. Look, first of all, in that CNN interview, he sounded terrible. His voice is raspy as can be. And at a time of war, it'd be nice to have an American president who projected strength and not feebleness. Second, on the substance of it, he previously said that he would withhold American armaments for Israel unless Israel first had a plan to move the humanitarian, evacuate the population to a safer zone. Now he isn't even focusing on that. He said, if they go into Rafah, if they take military action against Hamas, well, how does he expect Hamas to get destroyed? Does he expect that they will take themselves out? Israel has to finish the job. If Joe Biden were president during World War II, listen to him now, you get the sense he would tell the troops after we landed at D-Day, stop at the Belgian border. Don't cross the Rhine. Don't go into Germany to get Hitler. Because you've got to stop short. You just can't go that far. Israel is about to get Hitler. And the American president is saying, stop short, don't do it. Israel is fighting for its very survival. and Joe Biden is fighting for Michigan. That's what this comes down to. One bit of advice for Republicans: don't make this about impeachment. It's a clever comparison to what they did to Donald Trump that they shouldn't have done, but it's meaningless. It's bigger than that. It's more important than that. Don't make it about impeachment.
You are right that this is about Michigan, and it's incredible, Emily, what happens when you don't have Michigan electoral votes at stake. Let's pull it up what they're doing in the United Kingdom. There you go. David Cameron says the UK will not follow the US's lead and withhold arms sales to Israel. That's called bizarre.
And let's contrast this with President Biden's remarks just on Tuesday, at the Holocaust Memorial Museum, when he essentially said, look, 7.5 months later after the horrific attacks of October 7th, people are starting to forget. He likened it to the Holocaust. He said, never forget, and we must not do this here. And then he went on an appropriate condemnation of Hamas, saying it is all because of Hamas and we cannot forget this. So why is he now conditioning, or why is he has been this whole time, conditioning our support for Israel? We saw it with Ukraine too. You can't attack here. You must not use these weapons. Do this at 2 o'clock, not 4 o'clock.
Shit.
It sounds humorous, but it's absolutely mystifying why we would hamstring an ally that has been there for us every step of the way. If you are going to back
Shit.
tonight, you do not hand them a weapon.
Shit.
And let me tie one hand behind your back. That is what this president has done with both of our allies the entire time, and it is shameful with Israel, which is why many Democrats, senators, and congressmen have come out as well. Fetterman, deeply disappointing. Rep. Jared Golden, who said this is signal
Fucking priest.
as well to our allies, as our point is on. To your point, everyone sees it.
Dig in into that insult to injury. Just one day before this quagmire on CNN with the president, Washington Free Beacon points out that Biden found it within him to waive sanctions for Hamas ally Qatar and Iran-controlled Lebanon. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Lisa, I do think that this hurts Biden and Harris. It's actually not Biden and Harris in a meme. It is Biden Hamas 2024 that is going around the internet, because the Biden administration from day one has been about appeasing, empowering, and enriching terrorists, starting with Iran. Hamas would not have gone in and murdered innocent Jews and Israelis if not for the money that flowed into Iran's coffers and into the hands of its proxies, because the Biden administration allowed Iran to sell oil to China and other nations, period. There was a story about a little more than a month that was in Bloomberg before October 7th that said U.S. officials privately acknowledged they're gradually relaxing enforcement of sanctions on Iranian oil sales. Right now, their Iranian exports of oil are running at a 6-year high. They've done nothing. They're selling $45 billion a year in oil. They have made $100 billion plus in oil sales. So this is happening because of Joe Biden. He coddles terrorists and doesn't care about lives lost.
So we're making different claims. I agree with everything you said. I was just looking at the state that has the largest Arab population in the country and what polls are showing there, and it's showing that a plurality believes that he has it just about right.
This will get people to the polls.
We're making a little bit different.
I'm looking forward to the DNC, and there will be protests, no doubt. All right, a live look at the New York City courthouse where former President Trump is expected to speak in less than an hour when court wraps up for the day. We'll bring you there latest when he does. Plus, President Biden is blasted for his out-of-touch comments on the economy. We're out of touch. They were actually dead wrong. Even Democrats and liberal media can't defend these.
My daughter and I finally had that conversation.
Oh, no, not about that.
About what comes next in life for her. I may not be in perfect health, but I want to stay in my home, where my family visits often and where my memories are. I can do it with help from a prep cook, wardrobe assistant, and stylist. Someone to help me live right. At home,
Kill her.
life's good when you have a plan.
Zyrtec allergy relief works fast and lasts a full 24 hours, so Dave can be the
deliverer of dance.
Okay, Dave. Let's be more than our allergies. Seize the day with Zyrtec.
Mom jeans. She passed them down to you. but you pass them to her. Ancestry DNA can show who and where her genes came from. Best of all, it's on sale for Mother's Day. Get it now, before she has to remind you.
My name is Giovanni.
Fucking about time.
Years ago, we started this world-famous paintball business. I walk anywhere from 5 to 6 miles every single day. To run a business like this, you really need that extra pep in the step. When I came across Fountain Nature,
Okay, we'll get rid of you.
because it's just not real. Fountain Nature has fruits and vegetables in the ingredients. With Fountain Nature, you feel great.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable and inconvenient, but with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on uninterrupted because you'll have power when you need it the most. Number one thing to prepare for extended power outages. Don't make it so hard on yourself. Have a Generac home standby generator. And special financing and low monthly payment options are available. Call or go online now to request your free quote. Power your life with Generac.
Where do you want it?
She ran and played like a puppy again.
His number two's number 8.
He's a brand new dog, only less than a year.
When people switch their dog's food from kibble to the farmer's dog, they often say that it feels like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply fresh meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of dried pellets. Just food made for the health of dogs, delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do.
Your heart is the beat of life. If you have heart failure, entrust your heart to Entresto, a medicine specifically designed for heart failure. Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists. It was proven superior in helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's doing what you want. Take Entresto quick. Don't take Entresto with an ACE or if you've had angioedema, ACE or heart. The most serious side effects are low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. Novartis may help you save on your prescription.
There are certain eras in American history that define us, where fortunes were made and legends, they were born. This was an age of outlaws and lawmen.
The business is down here.
So from here on, some of it, and that's where the fun began.
Start free.
This is outlaws and lawmen. Now streaming and station.
That's how it's done.
President Biden is facing heat for being what critics call clueless and out of touch.
Hey, Mr. Bush.
While everyday Americans are struggling to buy groceries and pay their bills, Biden says his economic policies are working.
65% of American people think they're in good shape economically. They think the nation's not in good shape, but they're personally in good shape. The polling data has been wrong all along. The fact is that if you take a look at what the men people have, they have the money to spend. It angers them and angers me. We have to spend more.
Even Democrats and the left-wing media couldn't defend Biden on this one and warn that the economy could cost Biden the election.
He's right on the numbers about the economic turnaround, but he is on very dangerous ground. I would say he risks pissing off some of the voters I talked to in my travels over the last 6 or 7 months because they don't feel it.
I think he's making a terrible mistake. You know, it may not be, if he doesn't win this race, it may not be Donald Trump that beats him, it may be his own pride.
I agree with that. I think his economic messaging is incredibly weak. I think he must be mortified when he looks at poll after poll that says the American people trust Donald Trump more on the economy.
And yet, David, the president dismissed the polls and said they were wrong. So he's essentially dismissing Americans, calling them wrong, even though they know exactly well what they feel across their kitchen table and in their wallets.
And he dismissed him in that interview. He said this, and I thought that this was the worst thing of all the lies that he told. He said the fact is, if you take a look at what people have, they have the money to spend. That was his real Marie Antoinette or Josephine Antoinette. It was literally let them eat air. They have the money, and it's cruel that under Joe Biden, real incomes, so inflation-adjusted incomes for the middle class, are down 3%. Their wages, their incomes are not keeping up with this inflation, and inflation is incredibly unsettling. People don't know how to plan for their futures, but in terms of chronic lives, through the interview, Erin Burnett didn't correct him. She just sat there. She didn't say anything. I was half expecting her to lean over and just close his mouth for him. And you're sitting there with his jaw hanging open. And there's such a discrepancy, Lisa, between the statistics and the reality. Where he can call poverty a certain amount, but the reality is are in poverty. But it's Joe Biden. Yeah, I think he continues to lie and gaslight the American people. Maybe they'll finally just start believing it. As David pointed out, 15 lies in 17 minutes, a lie per minute, lying about all these different things. But ultimately, what this election is going to come down to is just to compare and contrast. I mean, we're in such a unique position this election cycle of predecessor and successor, right? And Americans know you can go down the list of issues you care about. You know exactly where these two guys stand because you've experienced it in real time in just the past few years alone. And so, and ultimately it's going to come down to that CNN poll that found that 55% of Americans view Donald Trump's time in office as a success.
All right, let's go on to this topic here. Former President Trump has been pushing to debate President Biden for months now. He just posted this challenge on social media.
Let's get to the debate right now. The American people have the right to know. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Let's go, Joe. Let's debate.
And after initially dodging whether he would debate Trump, it seems President Biden is warming up to the idea. Set it up, Biden says, sort of like when he responded to calls to dismantle ICE. Give me a couple days. So do you think he means this, or do you think he's just reacting the way the wind blows, which he seems to do?
Good point. I won't believe that Biden debates until I see it with my own eyes. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. You're not going to get the CNN Aaron Burnett fact check treatment, or lack thereof, during a presidential debate with Donald Trump. Yeah, the moderator may give you a pass, I'm sure it'll be some liberal, but Donald Trump's going to fact check you in real time. He has receipts and will bring them. And this is, make no mistake, this is basement campaign 2.0. It's just run out of the Oval Office. They have highly controlled events for him. I was reading today in Politico, they're considering moving the DNC to semi-online so as to not let protesters disrupt it. That's a political headline. So do you really think the basement campaign's going to let him out of the Oval Office to go get demolished by Donald Trump? He will sit in the metaphorical basement. I'd love to be proven wrong.
So Ari, talk to us about the impact. If Kaylee's right, which she always is, talk to us about the impact this will have on Democrats and on any independent.
If he debates or if he doesn't debate.
If he doesn't, or both. But
if he debates, this is why Kaylee's right, there can't be debates. If he debates, it would be kiss of death for Joe Biden as well as the Democratic Party. The last thing they want to do is put Joe Biden out there for the world to see. Live, spontaneous for an hour and a half at 9 o'clock at night. He can't even walk up the stairs to Air Force One. Yet he can stand on the stage for an hour and a half at 5. No. They're going to have to hide you. There is a basement underneath the Oval Office. It's located right next to the mess. And that's what you're going to have with Joe Biden if he takes the stage. The mess. So, when Joe Biden says set it up, we saw earlier in the thing, I'll never stop foreign weapons shipments to Israel. Set it up. But he's maneuvering right now, so he doesn't take the plane. But I can't take the stage against the man who was convicted in Manhattan. He'll come up with some excuse for why he can't share a stage with Donald Trump. He said, you can't blame me. I wanted to. I said, set it up. No. It'd be
waits until right now, a paralegal for prosecutors is on the stand testifying about text messages involving Stormy Daniels.
Oh boy.
Check out those doors you see on your screen there in the next 30 minutes to talk to reporters. We'll bring that to you live when it happens.
Used to work as hard as they do. However, since 2000, the buying power that means a dollar is only worth about 68 cents. 2000. So in gold, your value would have increased over 700%. It's easy. With Roslyn Capital, a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals, gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs, and our premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Roslyn Capital at 800-630-8900 to receive your free Roslyn Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and Silver brochures. With Roslyn, there are no hassles, no checks, and we have the fastest shipping. Dollar down, gold up. Pretty clear. Make gold your new standard. Call Roslyn Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
We should also
In
be
and out of the
prepared
bathtub,
for the
becoming a
event.
safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that can go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bathroom shower that's safer at a price you can afford with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel.
Done in the same day, did not have to wait. It is amazing.
I would give this whole experience, and I definitely wish I would have bought two.
From soft close shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats. Safety and style. It's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bathroom shower right away.
Only weeks left to get waived installation and no interest and no payment up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-991-2603. That's 800-991-2603. Call now.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at it. The pain is gone.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
It helped. I said, no, you don't understand.
Okay, I just need the supplies.
Feel better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Call or go online now for our 3-week quick start, just $19.95.
Hi, I'm Chris. I lost 57 pounds on Golem. Golem isn't complicated. I don't have to follow a restricted diet, and I don't have to spend a lot of time making meals. Using Golem was truly transformative. It was easy and inexpensive.
Find a great deal at your ideal hotel. Open your barcode, type in where you want to go, select your check-in and check-out dates.
Excellent, got another engineer. Cool.
Save up to $30 an hour. Hotel, Trivago.
Let's get started. Bill, where's your app? I really tried sleeping with it, but I'm done struggling. Now I sleep with Inspire. Inspire? Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside my body with just a click of the
+1.
Don't ask. Just sleep. Yeah, but you need the hose, you need the air, you need the
Inspire Sleep Apnea Innovation. Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
The smooth-riding, longest-lasting Pilot G2 has long been the hero of jelly families. And one hero doesn't know the dark side. Introducing the G2 Edge, the same number one selling jelly pen in America, now with an innovative laser edge design, cushion comfort grip, and durable tungsten tip. Whatever your mission, yourself the edge. When you can't watch or listen to the latest news, business and news headlines on SiriusXM, anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
This just in, Florida Congressman Corey Mills has formally filed articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden over his threat to withhold arms to Israel. The legislation consists of a single article citing abuse of presidential power. It reads in part, in violation of his oath to faithfully execute the office of president and to uphold the Constitution, President Biden abused the powers of his office by soliciting a quid pro quo.
Let's get the armor for everybody.
While leveraging the military and policy changes. This this action not only states undermine the interests of our long-standing ally, Israel. The latest as we get happening now in New York. The defense is cross-examining a second
Spark upgrade.
Manhattan District Attorney's Office. He's testifying about phone records with Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen.
Good, now I got armor.
Cohen is the prosecution's star witness, and he is set to take the stand on Monday. Can't wait to see that cross-examination. Here to discuss is criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. Brian, earlier in the day, we had Madeline Westerhout on the stand, and there were some interesting things that came out from her. One of which she said that President Trump would sign checks kind of on auto without really looking at them. Very helpful to the defense. She also testified to this, saying that he knew that the Access Hollywood tape, or the Stormy Daniels story rather, would be hurtful to his family. So really helpful to the defense. I'm starting to wonder if the prosecution's witnesses actually work for the other team.
Hey, Kelly, great to be with you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every witness they've called to date has backfired. Stormy Daniels helped prove she had bias. She hated President Trump. She laughed when they talked about the indictment in front of the jury. She had a financial motive to lie about President Trump. She made over $1 million, and they proved that she had 1 million inconsistent statements. And now you have other witnesses that are confirming a couple of things. That President Trump was removed from this alleged incident. He would sign checks. I mean, come on. He's in the White House. They're sending checks from New York. Do you think he's going to nitpick and figure out what all those checks are for? I mean, this is a train wreck for the prosecution.
A train wreck. And what's a train wreck for justice is this gag order and the judge refusing to alter it yesterday. I mean, Brian, just taking even the legal side out of this. I think
Excellent.
the American public looks and they see the Stormy Daniels cross-examination where you had Susan Neckles say to her, you're making money off this indictment, talking about selling candles. And then this appalling TikTok, we'll pull it up, by Michael Cohen. ABC News took a screen grab. He is literally, look at that, wearing a shirt of Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit. I mean, and Trump can't respond?
Yeah, Kelly, a couple days before I talk about the gag order, the social media is going to be the most devastating factor in the prosecution losing this case. What do I mean? We saw it with Stormy Daniels, remember? All her posts, the tweet she put out about flushing an orange turd. And now Cohen is going to be destroyed across the table. If I was President Trump, I would take every single interview he's done, every single social media post he's done, saying how much he hates President Trump, and spend 5 hours going through every single one to show that jury that he's categorically biased against President Trump, and that he can't be believed at all. One other quick point I wanted to make, Kaylee, and I hope Trump's lawyers make this argument. If you think about it, Trump allegedly signed these checks in 2017. The entries in the financial records were allegedly made in 2017. Why is that important? The election was in November of 2016. This was done after the election, and their whole argument is, well, Trump was conspiring to defraud financials to influence the election. Well, looks like all that was done allegedly
Double three.
after the election.
Fantastic point. Brian Claypool, thank you for your brilliance. You know, Emily, one question for you. You and I were talking about this during the break. There was an appeal filed yesterday to the gag order by President Trump, but I don't know, that decision likely won't come out before the end of the trial, which could end in 2 weeks. So, again, he's left without an ability to respond.
And their attorneys could thus argue that it materially affected his ability, right, to defend himself, including in the court of public opinion, because the story isn't sequestered. So it might actually have a real impact on the appeal, let's say, if he is convicted. So all of this, nothing has been working in the prosecution's favor. As you outline, not their witnesses, nor the facts of how the prosecution are going about their strategy. It's frankly a little curious that we're even seeing such a mockery made of their positions here, the role that they're playing. I've seen nothing worth any modicum of respect, frankly.
That's curious, and some would say blatantly political, at least it seems that way. Well, coming up, Denver migrants have set up an encampment and are refusing to leave unless the mayor gives them everything they ask for. Their outrageous list of freebie requests. Next.
I run into True Max Protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks.
True Max Protein.
protein, unbrowned sugar, 25 vitamins and minerals, and a new fiber blend with a prebiotic.
Ooh, this looks romantic.
Welcome. I'm your host, Checkup.
Hi.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals have no privacy, try one that has no one but you. Somebody would ask for something and she would just walk right past them. She didn't know they were talking to her. I just could not hear. I was hesitant to get the hearing aids because of my short hair, but nobody even sees them.
Our nearly invisible hearing aids are just one reason we've been the brand leader for over 75 years.
When I finally could hear for the first time, I could hear everything.
Call Miracle Ear at 1-800-234-7090 and schedule your free hearing evaluation today.
You got better things to do than clean out clogged gutters. Call Leaf Filter today. And never clean out clogged gutters again.
Leaf Filter's technology to clean out of your gutters for good. Guaranteed. Call 833 Leaf Filter today or visit leaffilter.com.
I'm always shopping at Rell. They drop over 10,000 new arrivals every day.
Gucci, Rolex,
Prada,
Louis Vuitton,
Elements, Cartier, Tiffany.
Up to 90% off retail. Endless luxury. The Real Real. Shop now and get 20% off at therealreal.com. Terms apply.
I love your dress.
Oh, thanks. I splurged a little because Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance and I saved hundreds.
That's great.
I know, right? I've been telling everyone.
This one, okay.
I just said her first word. And you said mama.
Chance to ambush on Gorilla Ops. That's not very good.
Auntie? Yeah, right.
How many people did you tell?
Only paid for what you need.
After a horrendous week, Joe Biden in California raising money for his fledgling campaign, but no plans to visit the border. Full details on Hannity.
Attention former Marines and family members stationed to Camp Lejeune. If you live or work at
Viper King. No, don't need blue screens. Skulljack. Oh, I like the armor. It's an extra utility upgrade too. I need a grenadier.
What we can expect with our team of legal heroes coming up. Trump with an expected huge rally of
The exosuit on you.
Is the Garden State in play? And will the English wild support counter everything that is happening off this week? This is moving. The Biden's move to withhold weapons from Israel. Is it any different than when Reagan did it back in the 1980s? I'm John Roberts, Sanders Update, and Joe Nashowski, and here at the top of the hour for America Reports.
Well, this just in, witness number 19 is officially off the stand. The jury has been dismissed, and we are awaiting former President Donald Trump. He is expected to speak at any moment. We've been told by his team that he'll be going to the microphone. We do expect to hear from him, perhaps reflections about the judge, as we heard earlier in the day, or perhaps reflections about his rally coming up this weekend. Notably, it's only Wednesdays that he can have his rallies for the weekends, and this weekend he will go off to Wildwood, New Jersey, where he will engage in his First Amendment right to political speech, something that the judge has tried to tap down on. You know, It's amazing to me, Ari, and the ACLU, who brags about bringing hundreds of legal actions against Trump, has said in the case of the DC case, this is inextricable from politics, because they're merged together. He's the nominee after all, and yet he has to really control himself and the way he reacts to these witnesses.
Well, the fundamental issue is this is why you don't indict speakers running for president of the United States unless they actually did shoot somebody up. When it comes to these arguable things, business transactions, whether or not your records were kept accurately, which should be misdemeanor offenses that they have to elevate into felony offenses. When you go after someone running for president like this with the judicial system, it messes everything up. And that's why you have gag orders. That's why the president who can't speak. And it just doesn't feel right. The right venue for all this is with the American people. It should be settled through the elections. That's what the Democrats
And give you mobility.
Unless they indicted, he might actually win the support of the American people. And they can't have that because they can't have democracy prevail and work. Because if it does, it might result in Donald Trump. Don't indict political opponents, both parties.
You know, Dagan, looking at this live shot, any moment we expect former President Trump to walk up. You mentioned earlier how measured he was. It's just incredible to me. He's reading an article in Simmons Right got it earlier. You know, that it was cut by Greg there. And he's having to edit it all the time. Things he can't say, all because of his gag order.
Miranda Devine wrote a column. I think it was published yesterday. It was a juxtaposition of President Trump versus Joe Biden. And she said simply, this election will come down to Trump showing strength and then Joe Biden just showing weakness in every way. And this is a show of strength. This is a man who's being persecuted because Joe Biden can't run an election on his own. But in terms of what has been going on in that courtroom, the prosecutors, I looked up to MSNBC yesterday, and one of the analysts, a former Manhattan assistant district attorney, said there have been no witnesses who have directly tied Donald Trump to the payments, period. And then with Stormy Daniels, the prosecutors are wasting the jury's time, and there is nothing that you want to avoid more than chapping the backsides of those jurors. That's what they've done.
Emily, and this just in too. So the DA's office planning to call
Let's save this.
witnesses next week. Presumably, one of those witnesses is Michael.
And we'll continue next time. All right, guys? Peace out.
Monday, and it's entirely possible we will rest next week. So then you would go.
Ain't nobody watching this shit anyway.
To call. I mean, this could wrap